Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm here with Stephen Moore today from Marzio. How you going? How you doing, Stephen? You all right?
Good. How are you, Tom?
Good stuff. Yeah, we've got some news that pretty widespread sources and we're all Evertonians are buzzing for this announcement of a player who seems to be arriving from Juventus. I think when the rumours first came out, I myself said on the channel that I thought it was Mino Raiola, his agent, trying to force a better contract for the player at Juventus, but it seems like Moise Kean or Moise Kean, however you say it, seems to be moving to Everton, and his medical is tomorrow, according to Sky Sports. So first things first, how do you pronounce his name?
In Italian, it's going to be Moise Kean,
Yeah,
but in the Premier League, I believe they'll just go with probably Moise Kean. It's probably
yeah,
a little bit simpler. It's not an Italian traditional name as he is Ivorian, so
yeah.
it's a little bit different as usual.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we've got in Liverpool as well. We don't tend to say things as they're meant to be. We tend to give people affectionate nicknames instead. We've already got people on Twitter. I've seen someone on Twitter an Evertonian change the name to David Moyes, with Moyes spelt as Moise Keane's first name. So little witty one there. But yeah, what's it? As you mentioned, obviously he's an Italian. He's played for Italy, the senior team, but he was born to Ivorian parents. So, what is his background in terms of his playing background as well?
Yeah, so in terms of his background, like as it stands, he is 19 years of age, so he is very young. But he was born in Vercelli in northern Italy, so it's between the two big cities, I should say, of Milan and Torino, or Milan and Turin. Sorry, I'm saying it in Italian here. But he did grow up playing with the likes of Asti, Torino, and he was actually acquired by Juventus from Torino in terms of the youth sides, and he's made his way up to the Serie A actually with Juventus in 2016 at the age of just 16 years and 8 months.
Yeah.
So that was under manager Massimiliano Allegri, who has recently just departed, but that just shows how much promise he had even as a young teenager growing up.
Yeah.
However, we didn't really see him too much on the big stage in the Serie A until 1 year after, when he went on loan to Hellas Verona in 2017, 2018. He was one of the stars, or one of the shining peaks that I saw on the team when I was watching Hellas Verona, who were a struggling side who actually got relegated.
Yeah.
But since then, he's only really looked up, joining the first team, and he really took his chances last season for Juventus in all competitions.
Yeah, he kind of broke through a little bit more last season. Obviously, he's been on the scene for. He's 19 years old, but he's been on the scene since he was 16. Obviously, he broke a few records already. I think he was the first player to play born in the 2000s for was it the Italian national team or for Juventus?
It's been, I think the Italian decides there, yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
was, yeah. So he's been around for a couple of years, even though he's only 19. But yeah, how did he perform in that Juventus side last season? Obviously, he generated a bit of publicity for Chiellini's controversial comments when he was racially abused and seemed to just plainly celebrate in front of the Juventus fans. But Chiellini came out, kind of criticised them, and that was where a lot of publicity was generated around that event. But we'd like to focus more on how he is as a player. So, how did he perform last season at Juventus?
Yeah, absolutely. So, looking at stats there, Kane managed to score 7 goals in 17 appearances. It is important to note that he was a starter in only 6 of those 17 matches in all competitions. So he played just over 660 minutes, which, if you break it down by 90 minutes, is just over 7 matches. So he was kind of deemed as that super sub breaking onto the big stage. And just to get back to your point there about the racially abusement that he received from the Cagliari fans, that was actually Bonucci, who had actually come out and
Sorry, yeah.
contradicted himself there by kind of chirping his teammate, but then supporting him afterwards, which didn't really look too good. But
Yeah.
it definitely created a lot of controversy and talk around this player. And the second half of the season, we really saw him being used under Allegri. Fans were left desiring more, and he actually decided to utilize him. So he didn't really he took his chances that he received. Didn't miss out on any opportunity that was really presented to him, as he was scoring in nearly every time he stepped on the pitch. But it looks like his reign is over in Italy. So Everton fans, here you are.
Yeah, brilliant. Looking forward to it. And apologies to Chiellini. I just kind of like blamed him for something he didn't do. It was Benucci, but yeah, back to Keane or Ken. However, Evertonians will learn to pronounce it. But yeah, what type of striker is he, and who would you compare him to out of the kind of modern day strikers at the moment?
So to date, with obviously the attacking threat and lineup that Juventus has had, I've seen him play mostly as a poacher. So in my opinion, it's one who knows where to be in the opposition's 18-yard box, one who knows how to be clinical in front of goal, and one who knows how to get behind a defensive line to spearhead the attack.
Yeah.
Presently in the Premier League, I think that I'd compare him to the likes of Aguero, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. just due to the similar traits and qualities they have to the young Italian. They're quick with their feet for one, intelligent on the ball for two, and they kind of know when to move forward, when to set up a teammate, and they obviously know how to finish a chance, which is why I think that all three of those guys are really similar to him.
Yeah, I saw some quotes as well recently from Guillaume Balaguer, who obviously knows his stuff, but he seemed to say, obviously, he said Ken Kean was a very good player, but he spotted weaknesses in his game to do with, he said he was uncomfortable in small spaces, and he kind of liked to run. I think he said he likes to run into space, but he's less comfortable with the ball. Would you agree with Balaguer's points?
He is. I think so into some aspects, but he is very quick with his feet and he knows how to dribble, and I believe he enjoys it as we see him all skills and the showboating that he performed last season. So in terms of small spaces, I think he is fine, and the Italian game is very good with quick movements and moving on, getting up the pitch and passing the ball back and forth. So in terms of tight spaces, I don't think that he's rather a weakness for his game, but he does like to get into space because he does have those long strides and he is very agile. He likes to get into space to either work his way towards the box or find a teammate inside the box.
Yeah. The game as well that Everton are kind of looking to play at the moment is more of a counter-attacking game kind of, but none of the players we have at the moment, none of the strikers we have at the moment seem to suit that. Obviously, we've got a few. We've got Cenk Tosun, who's simply not fast enough to play in what Marco Silva's trying to do. We've got Oumar Niasse, is just simply not good enough to play in the Premier League. We've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he looks strong, but he's a little bit toothless. But do you think Kean or Ken is kind of like, will he fit in the Premier League? Is he a Premier League style of player who could go straight in and kind of stake his name straight away? He wouldn't need time to adapt to the Premier League.
In terms of time to adapting, I do feel that the Premier League it does take some time to adjust to in terms of when you're switching from Italy to England. But I think that Kane does have the capability to actually impress in the Premier League. Like you said, he is very young, but despite this, he's got the European and international experience under his belt. Yeah. He's already proved at Juventus that he has the striker qualities and the ability to take a team to the next level. It's just getting that playing time to be able to showcase his skills.
Definitely. We can ask as well, just as a side note as well, kind of we'd like him to go straight in, because obviously we have got a bit of a crisis up front. We need a striker. But has he had any pre-season with Juventus so far? Is he ready? Is he fit to go straight into a Premier League team when the season starts?
That one there, I'm not too sure about in terms of Juventus. I haven't been able to watch them in China, but I do know that I've seen him on social media very active, so I do believe that he's with the team, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not too sure how the preseason has been going for him so far. But in terms of jumping right into the Premier League, I think that he's meant for that occasion. He's meant to star on a team and be given that chance. And once he's been given that, he usually takes it and converts. So I do think that putting him right into the team right away, he will be able to adapt and he will do well for you guys.
Yeah, he's definitely a very confident young man who definitely would be keen, pardon the pun, to get straight in there and kind of start. And hopefully that's what will happen sooner rather than later. But obviously, as we've talked about, he's a young striker. He's 19 years old. And I've mentioned how Everton is so desperate for a striker. Do you think he can bear the weight of a team so desperately lacking a striker at his tender age of 19?
Yes, I think so. Like I've said, repeating this here, but his ability to take the chances that he has and just perform on a big stage in front of several fans in whatever league and whatever competition, I think he can bear that weight in terms of Everton looking for one of those top strikers. He is young, but he's got all the qualities to succeed and do well.
Yeah, of course, hopefully. As well, finally, is the reported price, which is around 35 million, might rise to 40 with add-ons. But do you think that's a good price for both Everton and Juventus?
Yeah, so as you said there, the reported fee is 40 million euros. I think that's around 36 pounds in total, if I'm not mistaken, 36 pounds. But he is going to be making around 3 million euros per season. In terms of Juventus, I'll look at the Italian side first. I do think that they're going to have a hard time playing Kane with the likes of Mandzukic, Ronaldo, Higuain, and Dybala still at the Bianconeri. In addition, you obviously have those talks of the Lukaku and Icardi links. So his time just seems to be dwindling, and although he's a starlet and although he should be getting this playing time, the likes of these superstars that they're paying so much money for are going to be played first. So because of this, I think that they accepted this offer, which may seem low in terms of other players such as like João Felix, for example, this summer, but this is going to allow the player to get more playing time, and it's going to bring in a substantial capital gain known as plusvalenza in Italy, which will most likely just all be to Juventus. When we look on the contrary to Everton, they're obviously going to be getting a young and lethal striker. So if he performs, they could see that 40 million value in total more than double over a few years. So I think it is a positive one in terms of the relation or the fee there for both sides.
Yeah, fingers crossed anyway. But one of my initial concerns was the fact that Mino Raiola is his agent, and that was a bit of a tripping point for me. I'm not a fan of Mino Raiola. I think he's kind of epitomises for me all that's wrong with modern football. And he was the agent of Romelu Lukaku when he was at Everton, and he's a player who, during his pretty much his entire time at Everton, he was looking. He didn't have his eye on Everton at all. He kind of was looking for a move to a bigger club. So I'm hoping that's not the case with Moise Kean. I'm hoping he kind of keeps his eye on Everton for the near future at least. But we're hoping we can reap the rewards of a good move. So fingers crossed it all works out, and we think it will be announced as soon as possible. Obviously, we thought it might be announced today, but obviously Sky have come out and said he's not actually in England yet. So he's going to fly in for his medical tomorrow. So it should be announced tomorrow or the day after. Fingers crossed anyway. So by the time this video is out, hopefully it will be imminent to be announced. So we're looking forward to it. But thanks a lot for speaking to us today, Stephen. It's been very good, your insight. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, Tom, for having me on.
Cheers, nice one. Yeah, you can find more of Stephen's stuff on his Twitter. We'll tag his Twitter tag, so you can have a look at some of his stuff. He does some great stuff on the Italian league on his Twitter. So we'll obviously include his tag, and you can have a look at his stuff and on my stuff as well. And thanks a lot for watching. Obviously, comment what you think of Moise Kean's move to the Premier League and to Everton under this video. Like the video and subscribe to Toffee Blues. And thanks a lot for watching, and join us next time.